friends, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to do a flip through of a journal that I created for a very special friend. She is somebody that I have known for over 20 years and she has a love for ballet. She was a ballerina and dance has been part of her life since her childhood. So for her birthday, I made this journal. So here I've added some tulle. I always am afraid to pronounce that word because I always feel like I'm going to say it wrong. So I have this as the closing ribbon. And here I used a silk flower that I adhered to it. And this is a picture of her daughter in the center of the flower. And then these are just some photographs of ballerinas from days gone by. Here you can see the binding, and underneath it I put this gold ribbon, and actually my sister gave me this gold ribbon, and it's really cool because it's like lattice, if you will. So I thought that looked really nice on here. This is a picture, we did a photo shoot on the beach, and this is a picture of her daughter that I adhered to a card that can be journaled on. I altered the card, added some flowers and ribbon. This is a piece of paper that I sewed, and I sewed the journaling paper onto the back of it. There are several altered paper clips throughout. This is a page that I sewed in from a magazine, and so is this. I looked through all the magazines that I had to try to find ballerinas or dance figures, and so when I did find them, I used them. Oops, I think this one goes under here. This is a doily that I folded in half, and in between the fold and the paper I added this material. Here's a belly band. You'll see throughout some old pictures. There's one here. This all comes from a very old magazine from the 1960s that my friend Sherry at Turquoise Dreaming sent to me. This too, it has all the positions in it, so I added many of them to old vintage playing cards. So anyway, she sent me the magazine so that I could use it for my friend, and my friend will just love it. So you're going to see this throughout the book. This is a piece that I got from the estate sale, and here's another altered card that I did. That's a picture of my friend's daughter in a dance pose, and they fit perfectly in these little things that I got at the estate sale. This is some paper that I created using other pink paper. When I soaked them, they transferred. Here's another picture I got from a magazine, so you'll see that I sewed the magazine page onto the scrapbook page, and then I created a pocket. This is a black and white. You'll see a few pictures of her throughout. She was actually an opera singer. She had a love affair with Aristotle Onassis for many, many years. Even after he married Jackie Kennedy, they continued their affair. Here's another magazine page that I sewed in, and another altered playing card with a picture of her daughter. Here's a piece I got from the estate sale. Just adhered that on, and then a piece of book page that I punched out into a flower and then just added the butterfly on top. So on this page we have a fabric flip that was made by Helen Vigil and sent to me in a swap. And then we have 3 small pockets here. So this can be journaled on. And then this is just a little card that can be journaled on. Then we have 2 more altered playing cards with pictures of her daughter. She's going to just love that. This is a small card that I ordered from World of Muchness. I absolutely love it, and I think it is perfect in this journal. I found World of Muchness on Instagram. There's that opera singer again. Forget her name. I know it's Maria something. Oh, and here is another magazine page that I sewed in. There's a little washi tape underneath here. It's a vintage piece of paper that I coffee dyed. So right here you can see that ribbon that I put on the spine shows through in between the signatures and looks pretty cool. So here's another altered playing card, and I think my daughter brought this little pouch home from somewhere. And this fit in it, and I just thought it was kind of fun to put this inside. It just adds some texture. Here's another page from a magazine that I sewed in. Because I sewed it in and I kept this open, we have a little pocket here. This is a book page that I coffee dyed and spritzed with gold glitter paint that was watered down. And I just put some corners from the matching scrapbook paper there. This is the other half of the book page. I just fold it in half and slide it onto here like that, so you get a pocket on both pages. There's a little piece that I adhered, and this little tuck fits right in there. So you guys know I have that book that has the pages where you can color different outfits. Well, this is the closest thing that I could get to a ballet one. It's got some Paris stuff, and it does have some ballet flats, which is nice. So it's as close as I could get, but I thought that would be fun. Here's a piece of linen that I got at the estate sale. I believe a linen, it would have been a napkin. It's absolutely beautiful, so many details on it. So I just put that in there just for fun, really. Up here on this part of the page, we've got the postmark, and it says January 19th, 1994, and 29 cents. I added the ballet slippers to it, little sticker. So this page, let me explain real quick. Over here we have some caverns, and we have some people dancing, and I wanted to use this. It's from a magazine. And because it's got some dark in it, I figured over here is where I would also use some red and then use some darker colored paper just to tie in this particular spread. And then I found this ballerina from a book. And this is actually Shirley Temple Black, and I found this picture of her in a book. She was an entertainer and a dancer when she was a child. And then just a piece of vintage paper that I coffee dyed with a piece of that old magazine on it. It was actually a book, but it was a paperback book. And then we have a little pocket here with another vintage paper. I just added a bow and a picture of her daughter. And of course this page was sewn in also. On the other side of this page, I sewed the two together. This is another magazine piece. And I used a very small pocket because this girl is underwater. She's got a ballet outfit on and ballet point shoes. I did not want to cover this picture. It's fantastic. So I used just some small items in these pockets. This is another picture of her daughter on the beach. And then I just did two small tucks. And actually this color matches better than that. So we're going to put this in this way. Maybe this way. Let's see. Yeah. This can go here, and then her daughter can go here. And I added some ribbon here and a little scrapbook paper on the edge. And this is an old, old article from 1989. So over on this page, we've got a pocket here, and I've tucked in a piece of writing paper. I embellished it with my friend's name. And then we have a postcard that I found at Heritage Village. And since it had dancers on it, I wanted to give this to her. This is a reproduction, of course, but it was made probably, it says, late 1800 to mid 1950s, and I would say this was maybe 1940s. If you look at the sleeves on her dress, that would indicate that style to me. I've got a dictionary page that I sewed in. It has the definition of the word dance here, so I highlighted it so that maybe she would notice it. And then we have another old postcard. It's a reproduction, but she's got this, almost looks like a ballet dress on, and yet she's holding a color palette there to paint. So this is just fantastic in every single way. And so it says also 1800s to mid 1950s, and it's just adorable and perfect for this journal. So we have some more altered paper clips here, and they are holding in two things for this page. I have this vintage ribbon. I've used this once or twice in some of my past journals. I absolutely love it. This is upholstery ribbon. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. I can't use it in everything, but I certainly could use it in this journal. So what we have here is another picture of her daughter on the beach that I've embellished with a seashell, and this is kind of like, this rope with the gold in it. And then we just have this, mini postcard that can be journaled on. And you can see the back of the dictionary page here. So I think this just works as a perfect tuck. I love how this came together. And if she wanted to, she could adhere something here or journal right over that or whatever. We don't need these here, but I think they look nice, and so that's why I put a bunch of these in. They're not necessary. This would hold the pictures in probably fine, but they just look cute. So this is a beautiful page. We have a piece of ribbon that creates like a little, pocket, if you will. And then we have this beautiful fabric flip, and so actually it can be flipped up and journaled on here, and then it can be opened and journaled in here. So here is my surprise pocket, and we have our trusty feather in our surprise pocket. Silver I felt like was perfect for this. Then we have a picture of a famous ballet dancer who actually had schizophrenia, and he painted this he painted this picture during one of his episodes. So I thought that was an interesting little fact. We have one of our cards in one of the ballet positions. Then just a little sticker of, the Eiffel Tower. We have this black and white. I took this from a book, and this lady, these pigeons are climbing on her on this side. And on this side we have two little kids. Here we have this fantastic picture that I found in a book. This had to be from like the 1980s. Their outfits are fantastic. I put this sticker on here because that was the time that we would have worn something like that. So I just thought this was kind of funny. She'll love that, a little blast from the past. And then also from a book I found this. So again, this is our surprise pocket page. You never know what you're going to find in your surprise pocket, but that's what we have for this one. It's really not a journaling space, although you could turn it into one. It's just a space with goodies and fun things. But you could add, a little journaling tuck there if you wanted to. All right, so over here we've got another page that I sewed in. This is a book page that I sewed onto this magazine page. Here's a nice big picture from that old book that I was telling you about. I turned it into a pocket. I like this because there's a lot of journaling space here. These are some papers that I dyed. You'll notice throughout, most of the corners throughout this journal are covered in some sort of scrapbook paper. And what I like to do is, if I have little scraps, I like to use them in the corners because it adds something pretty, and then I don't end up with a lot of scraps. And it ties the pages together too. So I really like to do that because it ties everything together. So this is another illustration from that book, that ballet book from the 1960s. Here's a card I created. Nice journaling space. Another. Now here is the book from the 1960s. Now my friend Sherry at Turquoise Dreaming gave it to me. It was literally falling apart, disintegrating. I had been up in an attic for many years. So what I did is I disassembled the book, and then I adhered it, I decoupaged it onto new paper. But I went through and I aged the new paper. Under here is the new paper, and I went through and I aged it. So you'll see that's what this whole section is. This whole next part is all the book that I disassembled and pretty much recreated. It's all bound together by stitching. So, and all of these are illustrations from that book. This is just a little extra bling that I put in. And these are some pages that I dyed. So this is how I was able to save most of the book, obviously not in its original format, but you know, it's still kind of neat. Here's like a collage of many of the illustrations that were in the book, and then I stamped around some of them. And then this is the back. This is the back page, and she could add, you know, maybe a picture of herself and her daughter in here if she wanted to. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. Thanks for watching. See you soon.